Hi everybody, my name is Hakeem Kae-Kazim. I'm primarily an actor. I've delved into directing, and I say delve in that I've just finished my first directorial debut movie, which will be coming out later this year. We're in 2023, so it's probably early in 2024. Produced films like Man on Ground, God is African, various other films, Fight Like a Girl, which is my most recent one. As I said, I'm primarily an actor, and I got into the industry by when I was a young man. I lived in the UK, and in the UK they had a thing called the National Youth Theatre. So every summer I would go off from the age of 14, 15, and with a whole bunch of other kids for the summer holidays and do this youth theatre. And they would throw you in. You either were an actor, or they'd make you a stage manager, or they'd put you somewhere where they felt that you belonged. And but the main thing of that was that I fell in love with, I suppose, with being around the stage and being around people that love being on stage and around the stage, and then eventually fell in love with the idea of being an actor. It was because I was with an amazing group of young people every summer, and then we really formed close bonds that got me into the idea of being an actor. Not so much the acting initially, but that, and then I became very passionate. I loved being on stage. I loved doing Shakespeare, which is what I did initially, and I decided, against my parents' advice, that I wouldn't go to university and study and be a doctor. I wanted to be an actor, and parents being parents, they didn't like that idea, but I went on and did. And I went to study at the Bristol Old Vic Theatre School for 3 years. Fantastic school. Very classical training back then. So, I wasn't very oriented towards film and television back then. It was mainly stage. After I left the Bristol Old Vic Theatre School, I went on to do the Royal Shakespeare Company and the Royal National Theatre, working with people like Ian McKellen, who you may have heard of, Brian Cox, and some amazing actors and actresses. And that, for me, was a fantastic inroad and an amazing training, which I would recommend to anybody if they can be lucky enough to do that. And then after that, I went on and did, I decided I wanted to do a bit more television and film. So things weren't as good as I wanted them to be in the UK. So I moved off to the United States for a little while. And then while I was going to the US, I came via South Africa and ended up doing a whole bunch of things in South Africa. And that's sort of my journey towards being an actor and doing the stuff that I do. I've been lucky enough to do some amazing work, films like Pirates of the Caribbean, Hotel Rwanda, TV series like 24 and Lost and things like that, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Why did I become an actor? Because I was passionate about it. And what should you do if you want to become an actor and work either as a director or as wherever you want to work within the industry? I think, people ask me, well, gee, I have 3 kids. So do you want their children to be an actor? And I say no, because I don't want them to, because it's a very difficult profession to be in. It isn't really well paid. The hours are terrible. The fact that you have to travel a lot and be away from family a lot, all of those sort of things. But the one overriding factor that people do, I think, that want to be in the entertainment industry is that they ignore all of that because of their passion for it. And so my advice to anybody wanting to get into the industry, if you're looking to be famous, forget about it. But if you're looking to be passionate and be in love with something, or you are in love with this industry, then I would advise you to jump in and do it. But you have to, I believe, have this as a sort of a sole focus, something that you really passionately can't live without. And I've been lucky. I've been able to work and work out as an actor, because it is something that I can't live without. Having said that, I did a foray into directing earlier on this year, and I also found that a fascinating thing. And that was the first time as an actor I thought, you know what, there is something else that I could do. I love this just as much as being an actor, and possibly hint in the back of my voice was going, maybe even more. So, I mean, it was quite an amazing experience directing and understanding the process of directing. This day and age, people, financially it's a struggle, and these schools, these film schools and drama schools cost quite a lot of money, and most of them aren't government funded, or grants aren't available for them. So people say, well, how can I get into the industry? Well, there are a number of ways of getting into the industry if you're passionate enough, and that is by, signing on with agencies that start off with extra work, collaborating with friends of yours with your, the cameras now are amazing on your iPhone and all that sort of stuff. And putting something together, and I think the way to learn is by watching people that you like, watching films that you love, watching a TV series that you love, and then going around trying to sort of emulate that and be inspired by that. And as I said, if you want to be a film director or an actor, a group of you can get together and, with your iPhone and and edit a piece, put a piece together, direct a piece, coming from an actor's perspective, coming from a director's perspective. So there are many ways of getting into the industry that don't necessarily mean that you have to go to drama school or that you have to go to film school. I mean, those routes are obviously, I think, the best routes because you get training and that sort of thing. But, sometimes if you're lucky enough and, there are films around and you can get into any of those films as an extra, learning from that perspective is also a good thing. So how am I preparing going into a job? How do I prepare, first of all, as an actor? Well, as an actor, as soon as the script is sent to me, I start to sort of look and I read the script, obviously, and I'll read it a couple of times, and then I'll start to sort of delve into the character and also what the characters around him are doing. And then, try and find that character's truth, try and find his inner being, what makes him tick. I'll do a backstory on him. If it starts from one angle, I don't see a backstory on the page, then I will invent a backstory, invent a whole history for him, and or her, well, him mainly, and move through that. Is it method? Some people say your method. Yeah, I try to be as truthful and as honest to the character that I'm playing as I can, and I'll try and take things from my life experience as I work to develop this character. But for me, it's the truth, trying to find that character's truth, whatever that is, however you feel that is. Playing a bad man character, why is he bad? What is his truth? What made him that way? No one is intrinsically, implicitly evil or believes that they are. They all believe that they're justified in whatever they're doing. So what is that? What is it that makes him justify what he is doing? So that's the sort of things that I try and get into as an actor. As a director, this being my first one, I went to the school of YouTube, and this is what I'm saying to you guys out there. There's so much on YouTube, there's so much online. So I went to this University of YouTube and just looked. I looked at various films, various filmmakers, particular site there that you can, it gives you how to deconstruct a film. It tells you about lenses, it tells you about angles, it tells you about a whole bunch of other stuff and processes that other great directors have used. And I just looked through that as much as I could and studied up as much as I could, and then applied what I felt was relevant and put down what I didn't, and then also try to find my own voice within that. So the School of YouTube, the University of YouTube, is a great platform to use. So those are the sort of ways that I prepare for my work. And I think prep is the most important thing as well. Whatever you're doing, be as prepared as you can and as passionate as you can about what you're doing.